Pastor Josh here. We're reading 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 17. Suffer because you're doing good. Don't suffer because you're doing bad. Don't suffer because you're doing evil. Do what is good, be committed to it, and be willing to endure suffering. So here's what Peter says, again, reflecting on that Christians will suffer, that we will suffer persecution, that we'll suffer things coming against us. Peter says it is better to suffer for doing good, if that should be God's will, than for doing evil. You don't want to suffer for doing evil. There's nothing special about suffering for doing evil. We recognize consequences are normal. You don't want to suffer for doing evil, but it is far better to suffer for doing good. So if you're going to suffer, let the suffering be because you're doing the right thing. And then you've got this phrase put in here, if that should be God's will. And indeed, it is God's will from time to time in our lives that we should suffer. It's not that he desires it, like he wants it, like that's his controlling desire. No, but he does allow it. Nothing in this world happens without God's will, without him approving of it. He has to ordain it. If he absolutely does not want something to happen, it does not happen, because God is all powerful. So if God can't stop something from happening, then he is by definition no longer all powerful. There are limits to his ability, but that's not true. God is able to do anything he wants. He wants. So even when suffering happens, we've got to understand that, okay, the Lord may be allowing this, but he's allowing it for some greater desire, some greater goal. And of course, we have that great promise as Christians, that promise in the book of Romans, that all things work together for good to those who love God and are called according to his purposes. So we know that God's controlling desire for us is that it will all work out for good. But sometimes the pathway for God's greater wisdom and greater plan of what he's understanding the whole world to be, God will allow suffering for all of us from time to time. It will be our turn to suffer at some point. And sometimes we will suffer multiple times, many times in our life, maybe for a long time. But indeed, suffering is something that comes to all of us. And let it be that when we do suffer, that it's not because we did something evil. Let us suffer for doing good, for standing for what is right. That it should be the God's will that we would suffer for doing good. If that's what he so allows, let your suffering be because of that, not because of evil. I pray that has been a blessing to you. I'll see you in the next video.